All right, I almost muted. Hey everyone, it's Erin Smith, and welcome to episode number 18 of So What Do You Know About Business? This is the Happy Hour podcast where five women entrepreneurs sit around, we talk about lessons learned, have a cocktail, which is not required but recommended, and just talk about life and business. So I'm your host, I'm Erin Smith, and this is the part where we do a roundtable where everybody just introduces themselves, tell us who you are, what you do in your business, and then if you are having a cocktail, tell us what you're drinking. So Shannon is our guest tonight. Shannon, we'll have you go first.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm happy to be here tonight. I am a yogi, author, and coach, helping women to create a little more peace and ease in their crazy lives. I have been teaching yoga to individuals for about 16 years now. And my big entrepreneur business is actually certifying and teaching yoga teachers. So that's what I was doing today before we got together. So I've been 6 hours in yoga clothes and helping other teachers. Part of that I find just goes through life and lessons that I've learned at yoga. So I'm working on taking that message to other people, not just yoga teachers.
Very cool. And you're here in Texas too. It is happy hour.
Yes.
Do you have anything? I know you're like the healthy person. I'm not. So are you drinking anything today with us?
No, but I generally, if I were going to have a beverage, it'd be a Coke and a chocolate chip cookie. So I don't know about that whole health nut thing.
Okay. All right, cool. Very cool. All right, I'm going to go with Andrea next.
Hi, I'm Andrea Trevelyan with TakeASmartStep.com. I help business owners grow their businesses so they're not working crazy amounts of hours and then transfer their wealth out of their business. And I am drinking a white wine this evening. So.
Very cool. All right, Chandra.
I should unmute, huh? I should know this by now. Hi, I'm Chandra Achberger. I'm a serial entrepreneur and aspiring artist, as well as a bunch of other stuff, i.e. serial entrepreneur. You can find me over at Chandra Inc. And I have been having a pretty bad week, so I am back on the whiskey. So I'm drinking Whistle Pig whiskey. It's a great distillery up in Vermont, American-made, 10-year aged oak barrels, and it's very good. And they might want to sponsor our show.
I know, we have to hit them up. We should, you know what we should buy? Like, I need to go after some wine. Would it have to be? Oh, let's do it. Done. I'm fine with whiskey too. This has been my day. I need something. So, all right. Taylor is with us now. She's a sandwich maker. And what else do you do, Taylor?
Hello, I am Taylor Stevens, and besides, putting together last-minute snacks, I actually am a freelance writer and marketer and dancer and actress. So, yeah, if you want to communicate with me, Twitter at TaylorJoy315. Today, my primary focus is food, so I'm actually eating and I have water.
All right, awesome. And I am Erin Smith. I'm with the Starters Club, and I help people start and grow their businesses organically. And I didn't put my third up today, my lower third. But I'm drinking beer. I was telling these guys, today was one of those moments where praise God, I'm a stay-at-home mom, or work-from-home mom, because my 2-year-old, stopped breathing today. And luckily, I was able to do CPR and get her going, but I'm not out of it. I'm okay, but holy crap. Today was one of those days where you can't. It sounds so sad about the child, like I need a drink, but it was like a cocktail. Necessary. So anyway, she's okay. All is good. But this is the round table where tonight we're just going to do things like we usually do, where everybody talks about a particular subject this week. I can go last, but I realized CPR came in handy this week. That's one thing I did learn, but I did learn some lessons in my business. So I'm going to go, Shannon, just so you get the idea. I know you're kind of thrown in this week, so I'm going to let Andrea go first, and we'll go down the line that way. And then, Andrea, if you want, just chime in, tell us what you learned. Shannon, this is an open conversation, so after Andrea talks about it, we sometimes just, talk amongst ourselves about a particular topic, and then we'll go down the line. So Andrea, you're up.
Well, I actually learned two things, but they're actually tied directly to each other. So one of the things that I've been working on my business is actually Google AdWords. A lot of my private clients, they're not on social media, they don't get on email lists, they don't do this. They know they need help with retirement or something, and they literally Google financial coach or help with retirement. So I've been trying to learn AdWords because I didn't know much about it. And so I bought this course on AdWords, and I can't even explain how much I have learned. I listened to like the first 3 minutes of his first video and was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like halfway through the course and I'm like, I could stop right now and have already not only made my money back, but learned so incredibly much. So one of the things, I'll share my one Google AdWords thing that I think is so cool. I didn't know that you could narrow in on like colleges in Dallas, and then it would just show ads there. But then you could do like a zip code or like a city, and then put like top 10% earners. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you could drill down. Everybody talks about you can drill down on Facebook, but Google keeps adding all these features that you can get like crazy drilled down in Google. And then the second thing that I learned is it was more of a confirmation of how many crappy products are in the marketplace. This was the first course in a long time that I have taken and been like, oh my God, that was good. And I got it on sale for like $47. So I paid everywhere from $200 to $2,000, and I got way more out of this $47 course than I had in a long time. And I'm just like, why do people keep putting out just pure crap? There we go. Those are my lessons for this week.
That's
Stop putting out crap.
Yeah, stop putting out crap. And also, like, I mean, part of it is where you are right now in your business, like online business too, like being able to take in stuff. But there is a lot of garbage out there, especially with Google. But I'm so happy you're into Google. Like, we start talking about Google a little bit, because that's my baby. I'm like an analytics like certified and all that stuff. But Google Trends,
that might come in handy.
yeah. I have But look up also like Google Trends. So there's Google AdWords, and now they've done a lot of stuff with Google Trends. And the thing I just have to say about the Google, like, people go to Google with their wallets out, right? Like, they're going to buy something, right? Like Facebook, there is this like mishmash. People are going to like to be inspired, to talk to people, to see pictures, and not that, I mean, I love like Facebook ads and all that stuff. Sponsoring posts are a great idea if that's part of your marketing plan. But like, I think a lot of women in particular sleep on Google because it's so confusing unless you know how to just get started in it, or just like dip your toe in it. And that's great. I please post the course to the group, because that would be great for everybody. And like, use Google Trends and use Google AdWords. Like, just go and play around in that. Like, anybody who's listening right now, it's how somebody asked in another group how we name products, and I had a lotion company, a luxury lotion line, and I take Google Trends, Google AdWords, I look at long links, and I look at what's trending, and I put that together with what matches my product that I'm trying to sell. And this can be for a service as well. And then you just kind of take a thesaurus and what sounds good, like whether it's like, it depends on what you want, how you want to brand it. But like, yeah, Google is gold as far as a business is concerned.
And like you said, kind of being able to really get into the analytics, like you can pull up which keywords people clicked on to get to your ad. And then if you don't want that keyword, you can then put that on a negative list. So in reality, you basically can get to the point where you're literally paying just for clicks from people who really truly want your service. And then what I did was I emailed a bunch of my clients and I'm like, look, I know you found me online. Do you remember what you typed in? And then I just wrote those all down and added them in, and it's way cool.
I have a question, because that's something I've been thinking about lately. Not that like I have anything to really test yet. Well, I might coming up here in a little bit, but
actress available.
Yeah, voiceover, remote voiceovers. No, I feel like people are either like pro AdWords or very against AdWords, and yeah, just give me a little bit more insight, because it's something that like definitely interests me, and I'm an analytics person too. But I've felt like there's been a lot of like negative connotation with AdWords as of late.
Well, I'll tell you personally. Well, no, I was gonna say, like, especially if AdWords is what built my first 2 businesses. I had that thing like a faucet, so I knew if I spent X amount, I'd get Y back. I loved AdWords, and I'm so excited about this course, so I signed up for the same course, because like Chandra said, people are searching, I want this particularly, and if your ad comes up and it's good and it's, you know, X amount off or whatever, they're clicking it and they're calling you. The key is you got to be available, depending on your business, but you've got to be able to capture right away and all of that stuff. But I used it. I questioned this business as I started. Like, is that going to be my key? But as I'm searching for certain things and doing headline searches and there's so much value in using their keyword analytic tool. I use that for my Facebook ads, so I can see exactly what people are searching for and use that in my headlines of my Facebook ads even. So I'm really excited about this course because I'm ready to get back. I haven't used it in a couple of years now, so I'm excited to get back in on it, because you're paying a higher per click, and it's just like Facebook ads. If you don't know what you're doing and you're shooting, hoping for something, you're going to waste a lot of money. But if you're very strategic about it and getting in and not trying to go for the big searches, you don't want to play against the big guys. You just want to try to find the smaller searches and compare against those. That's what I always did. And once you can do that or be very specific about a certain area, it's a great way to lead generate. And I don't know if anybody has anything else.
Definitely.
Well, I was going to say I was anti, but kind of had hope for it. But I will tell you, like, I think most of the people who are anti-Google AdWords don't know what it can do. And I will say I was in that group until I started taking this class. And now, like, every time I learn something more, I'm like, okay, now I do see how, you know, I can eventually get to the point where I'm like, here's my lifetime customer value. It takes me 10 clicks to convert. I can see how, because of all the data and how specific you can get, it can, like Erin said, it can be a faucet. I think it's very good, but you have to know how to use it.
And it's also, I mean, even more than just, even if you're against actually having, like, you can have some moral issues with having your ads along the side of, you know, like, you just don't like that for any reason. As a research tool, it is invaluable, right? Like, use it for the psychology of it. Use it for seeing what is high in, because it tells you this is a highly competitive, these are highly competitive words. These might not be so great for you to use, right? But like, you can put a little twist on it, and there's you know, it's like funneling out your audience too. You can use it for so many things, but it's super exciting. And then, like, I mean, I know this isn't Google AdWords, but Amazon. I know that Shannon, you said you're an author as well. They just released basically pay-per-click for books, and so, like, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see Google AdWords and comparing it side to side side by side and seen what Amazon does. I mean, it's just in the book realm right now, but seeing how that works, because everybody goes to Amazon with their wallet really out. I mean, you're going into the store, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they compare the two. But you guys are in my zone right here.
Chandra's getting excited.
That's really good to know. Thanks for that. And yeah, definitely share the link because I feel like I'll need it soon.
Yeah, because even if we got it at 50% off for $49, and even at, I mean, the way you're talking, I've not gotten it, but even at $99 full price, it's probably worth it, right, Andrea?
Oh, the full price. First of all, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's undercharging. This class is amazing.
Get it now.
So for $99.97, whatever the full price is, it's good. You want it.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to go to Shannon now. Shannon, you kind of get the format. So if you want, share with us a lesson you learned in business and just a little bit behind it.
All right. The lesson I learned this week is frustrating because it's something that I always try to teach and coach my clients, and that is, after a while, you have to really trust your gut. It's so easy to kind of follow along and see what the next great thing is, the next great program, that feeling of missing out. And at some point, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your gut and believe that you're your best advocate and the best guru, what we use in yoga. And I didn't do that this past week. So last fall, I sent in a proposal to be a speaker at a yoga conference, and I was accepted into the conference, and I added that to have another level of marketing for the writing and stuff. So I knew I wasn't getting paid, and that was okay. Again, it was just a way to network and to have more opportunities to practice. So I left my time to speak was Friday evening, so I drove down. It was about a 4-hour drive to where I needed to go. And my mom went with me, so I didn't have to go by myself. And the whole time that we're driving down there, I kept looking at my mom going, I want to go home. I want to go home. And I'm like, what do you want to do, Mom? Mom's like, you do whatever you want. But I'm going to sit here, and whatever decision you make is fine. If you want to go home, we'll go home. If you want to go, we'll go. I'm like, okay. So the whole time, I keep driving down. I show up where I need to be, get registered and all of that. The venue was not a great venue, in my opinion. It was not in a great part of town. I show up for my topic, and I have like 3 participants for the whole thing, and I'm slated for an 1.5 hour topic lecture. One person showed up. She was the only person for probably 10 minutes, and then a couple of other people showed up late. So I went ahead, I committed, I did that, drove back to the hotel where my mom was, and I said, we should have turned around and gone back home. But I went because I had made that commitment, and I wanted to honor that commitment. But when I got there and I saw the setup and everything, I could have canceled, and no one would have thought anything about it. So I was a little disappointed in the time investment that I did driving there and then coming back, and the expense of having the hotel and stuff. But there were things along the way that I didn't pay attention to. I procrastinated ordering all my books, so I didn't have any books to take with me. There was something in the back of my mind that was saying, you don't want to do this. You really don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. When I didn't get the books ordered, I said, okay, I'll make postcards. Didn't get the postcards ordered in time. So I'm like throwing business cards in. And so anyway, the lesson was follow your gut. When it's screaming at you like that, to say, turn around. I looked at my mom and I said, next time I look at you and say, I want to turn around. Remind me of this so that we can turn around and go home, and I can enjoy the weekend with my family instead of, in not so good a part of town, far away from anything. So, you know, listen to your gut. It's really, it's truly guiding you to the right choices. Now, the positive was that got me here in this little, in this hangout today. So, you know, there was actually some good that came out of it. So I'm happy about that.
Well, welcome again. But so
you.
like, what were your red flags? So yes, there is always good that's going to come out. So that's the, like I was going to say, like the shiny side of the coin, right? Like no matter what, like just showing up will almost always result in, like, always follow your gut and always show up, whether that's like to say no or like whatever it is, but like that something good can always come out of it, just how you take it. But what were the red flags? Because there were obviously red flags before you got in the car and started driving down, right? Like, I mean, before any of that, for you to like be reluctant, what do you think? Like, was it the way you were asked, or like the website, or what was it about this event that that made you subliminally not say no, number one, and then also just like be apprehensive about it? What do you think?
So this was actually the second time that I've been a speaker for this conference. When I did it 3 years ago, it was in a very different venue. My topic was scheduled at 8 a.m. and I had probably about 4 or 5 attendants at that 8 a.m. time slot. So a part of me was like, you know, maybe it was just really the scheduling of it. And so when I reapplied for this year, right away she's like, I'm going to put you in, you know, the 6 o'clock evening. You know, everybody will be doing all their driving during the day, and everybody will be ready to come in and do the conference starting in the evening. And I'm like, great. However, in that sort of conference, people are going to take the classes that are very active and are using and practicing postures. And mine was a straight lecture. And I, having done this for 17 years, I knew what I was talking about, I was passionate about, but the people who would most likely be attending that conference, they weren't going to be interested in it. You know, they want to go take the sweaty, kick your tushy, you know, get their postures on. They don't want to sit there and listen to some person who's been doing it for 17 years tell them there's more to yoga than just postures. So that was kind of my first red flag. And then just all of the procrastination that I did along with it. A part of me, I thought maybe it's just because I'm out of my comfort zone, and that's why I kept pushing and kept driving. You know, this is just out of my comfort zone. I'm just nervous. This is me wanting to go home and have my little, you know, blanket, my little whoopee, and be safe and sound. But, you know, actually when I got there, I was like, nope. That was my intuition saying, this is not the right spot for you. This is not the best use of your service, you know, how you can be of service to others. So,
you know what, though? I think as much as it was not beneficial, it's so good you showed up, because the last thing you want, and I know, like, as I'm getting, the last thing you want is a reputation of somebody who doesn't show up.
Yeah.
So I think it's like lesson learned every time, you know, if you're about to submit or if you're about to do something and you just don't feel it, don't even, but I think it's awesome that you did show up. And you never know, maybe that one person who was sitting there, you just never know. So definitely take it as a lesson learned, but I think it's good you still went.
I agree, and that's what kept pushing my car toward the conference, was just, you know, I'm showing up. I'm fulfilling my commitment and what I said, you know, what I said I was going to do. So,
as with anything, you don't know until you actually do it. And it sounds like, unfortunately, you were like almost in the wrong arena for what you were actually teaching. You just had the wrong target audience, it sounds like, because they weren't, it didn't sound like they were true yogis to me. Like, really wanting, I mean, it's not just about the sweating part or the getting the postures, it's really about everything in the mind and body. And I think, oh my gosh, postures, I would have loved a lecture on that.
Well, the 3 that attended, they wanted to hear what I had to talk about. When I mentioned about, having more than postures, all their heads are bobbing going, yes, I can practice postures anytime. I can't come and listen to different people, talk about their experience and how they apply it. So yes, the attendees that I had, they did enjoy the lecture. So that kept it from being just feeling like a total washout for me. So,
well, and you never know where that might take you. It might be a year down the road and one of them calls you out of the blue and asks you to speak at like a giant conference. Like, you just never know what's, and as much as you weren't listening to your gut after you applied, something made you want to apply at the beginning, which was also your gut and your instincts talking too. Right. So I do think it is a hard balance, because you have to find that line between what is my instinct telling me and what part of this is fear of growing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a hard line.
No, it is. It is. Agreed. All right. Taylor, you are up next.
Okay. I was admiring your little whiteboard behind you, Erin.
You like all my things I need to get done today? Just a
Yeah.
few. Story of my life.
So it's really interesting. I was talking to one of my, it's a interesting relationship. It's like part mentorship, part business partnership, part friendship. So it's really unique and cool. But we were talking, and last week when I was talking to her, we have this weekly call, and I was just saying like how frustrated I was with, like, I guess just like this new journey that I'm on. Like, I'm excited, but like I was really frustrated at that point, because I'm like, I just don't really know what I should, really be doing, or it's just like a whole new world to me, like actually like pursuing acting and dancing fully. And it was so funny, because she's known me for a while, and she was like, well, Taylor, like, this isn't familiar to you. You're not where you were in Arizona. Like, it's not familiar. You're not doing something that you know how to do it and pursue it in the way that you normally pursue things, and like, be your overachieving self. And it just made me really think, like, through the week, I'm like, I really just need to like sit back, spectate, like feel out what's going on before I step up to bat type thing. And I've been going through like, a roller coaster of emotions, but I've just come to find out the past couple of days after journaling and stuff, and just really just striving to observe and like picking up the energy of places that I'm in, like the dance classes and Hollywood and all that stuff. And what I came to terms with, and what I just really need to embrace is, well, 1, patience. Everyone needs that. But 2, like, anything that I can do, and I know I've said this before, but any even little thing that I can do each week to get me closer to my dream, like, that's it. Like, that's part of my journey. Like, every little baby step. So I've really, like, I don't know, I've gotten to like a good place with it now. And it could be like the other day, like, my goal was to get headshots, and that wasn't easy to like find someone to do headshots for me, especially like, my friend was awesome and did them for free, but it was like, yes, like, I like celebrated that as an accomplishment, because it is like, I can't even do auditions unless I have a headshot. So it's like just little stuff like that. I'm just taking like each step as it is. And when I was on the call with her this morning, I was telling her that how I'm just accumulating. Each baby step is going to accumulate to what I want. And she was like, it's snowing. You like, when you watch the snow, you like, it falls like little by little, but like once it snows, it's there. So it was kind of cool. Like, I don't know, it just feels good. Like, I'm in a good place with it, and like more positive feeling toward it than like resistance. So.
No, I think it's like, oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, Chandra, just real quick, it's like a guy, Stephen Dar, was on my podcast, and he was talking about business, and he's like, even if you just take one small positive step every day, in 1 year you've taken 365 positive steps. Your business is bound to change in something like that. So it's kind of the same thing with you. And I'm so guilty of this, where I try to take on everything, and if I don't get everything done, I'm a loser and I suck. Where it's like, if I look where I was a year ago, this business was just an idea. Like, it's just crazy, you know, and how far you've come, but it's hard to view that when there's so far to go. It's so hard to view that. I don't know what you were going to say, Chandra.
Well, I was going to say, I think we're generally we're all kind of overachievers and used to a timeline, right? Like used to a certain timeline, and we've talked about this with motherhood, but I think it's like this with, and I mean, it's just life, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the same with you, Taylor. Like, you're starting an entirely new life, right? Like 2 months ago. Right?
Yeah.
Or 3 months ago. I'm sorry, 3 months ago.
2.5, I guess.
I'm sorry, not even a quarter. So, like, we all do this, right? We're like, okay, this is the goal, this is it, I'm going for it, and this is what I'm gonna do by this time. Like, our timelines, like, are just BS. Like, they just are, right? Like, there is, like, I mean, it's good to have plans. It's good to have, like, you have to have the goals. You have to have whatever. But, like, if you're walking towards it, like, you're completely you're successful if you are walking towards it. And it might change. Like, that path is inevitably going to change and do different things. However, like, just showing up, right? Just like, you know, with Shannon, like you have to show up in your life. You have to do this stuff, or else you are just going to be that person that's like at the end of their days and be like, you know what? I could have been a dancer. I should have done this. And I'm like, no, like you're gonna, you know, whatever happens, you are going to go on to the next level where from the platform that you are right now. Like, that's just what's going to happen, because that's who we are, all of us as people. Like, whether it looks the way we think it should look, like there, and that's I don't know if I just said this already, but I know I just gave this advice to someone who's about to be a new mama, and it's like, there are no shoulds, right? There's just like what works for us. Like, should be banned. There's just your path, and you have to feel it out, and you have to do it. But, like, you're showing up for you, and yes, you, like, especially in a place like LA, like, you kind of have to chameleon, like, and there's like these cycles, right, where you have to like step back and be like, okay, what is this? And it's, I mean, in art, in business, and everything, like, you have to just see what the room is doing before you jump in and say, okay, this is what I need to be doing in this atmosphere. So you're doing great. Go for it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly. I think the theme. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, showing up, I feel like, is our little almost theme today, because that's how I've been feeling too.
Like, my business coach actually just yesterday asked this question, and I thought that, and it ties exactly what into you're talking about, but the way he phrased it made me go, oh, wait a second, that's a good one. Was, what is one thing that you can accomplish by Friday that will make you feel better about where you are at? I'm like, oh, that's brilliant, because it is about the one step. So what's the one thing that's going to improve your attitude the most? And then go do that.
I like that.
That's
good.
Change
my to-do list.
Yeah.
If you guys can see that, I'm a little embarrassed. Run is back there. It's not crossed off, and yet I'm drinking, so don't judge. All right, Chandra, we're getting low on time, so I'm going to go to you next.
Oh, yeah, me, the talker, right? I'm the perfect person to go to next. Low on time, sure.
Oh, you haven't gone yet? No.
I had to go, because I had CPR. But so you can take up my time.
I learned something again last night. Our feed went down, like, wasn't working, right, for this show, right? So what do you know about business? I've had a lot of family stuff. I just found out yesterday my grandmother and cousin passed away, right? Like, cousin freak out, like, total, like, blown away, and then, like, just, and then in the past 24 hours, total Murphy's Law. Like everything that could go, you know, kind of the way this just life, like things that could go. Our sink faucet broke. Right, I have a wrench on it right now because that's the way I do things because I'm going to leave town by tomorrow and just fix it. But what I learned last night with the feed was broken, and I'm just like, I don't want to leave town for a week and then like have this be broken. It was hosted under my suggestion, under, you know, kind of like just a free way to do it, and I had spent like 4 hours working on it, and I was just like, this is silly. This is not sustainable, right? I can't just hand this off to Erin or any one of us and be like, okay, hey, this is what you need to do, and this is what I've coached people to do forever. Like, how do you grow? You can't grow a business, you can't grow anything unless it is sustainable. And if it's not sustainable for one person who totally knows all the stuff that's going on to do, it's definitely never going to be able to be handed off. And that's one thing I never want to do in any of my businesses or in life is create something where I am indispensable because I'm my only me. However, like with tasks, I don't want to be indispensable. I don't want to be the only person that like knows how to do something, because there's no growth that can come from that. And I finally had to say, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was just like, what am I doing? I'm trying to save this because this was an idea of mine that I was like, okay, this can work, and it can be, it can save us money, and it can do whatever. But I'm like, but it's not working. So I'm just being silly. And so I just, you know, bought hosting at a different place and, you know, set that up and learned a new system, and I'm luckily like learned things really, really fast. But and it's all set now, and now I can leave in peace, and we're going to have some things that we need to adjust with the show, but it's probably going to work out for the better. Whereas I was just like totally resisting this change because it was against my original idea, right? Or because in theory it was a better plan, but in reality it wasn't, because it broke and no one else could do it but me. So that's not a good plan, right? So like you have to set things up so that they work for everyone involved and they work for growth and go towards the goals. So Lisbon has a new customer, or Libsyn, sorry.
Well, I felt like such a jerk because I knew you had all this stuff going on, and I'm like, feed is broken. Like, I was such a jerk. I'm like, just tell me how to do it. I was totally willing to do it, but I'm like, I don't know how. I felt like, I think you think I'm an idiot sometimes. I really do, because I was like, Chandra, how do I do it? I have a whole other podcast that works just fine, and I'm always like, Chandra, how do I do this?
I don't think that, but I mean, I was doing it totally back end, and I was like, okay, well, we can do this, and I can set up a Google form, we can set up the show notes, which would be a good way to do it because everything's just on an Excel spreadsheet. However, it would still mean that I have to go into the back end, copy and paste everything, and I was just like, this is just silly. And it's not, no, I mean, unless you, like, I code for fun, right? Like most people don't do that, right? Like I was a history and mathematics major in college, and I mean, I went to many of them. I had a good time in college too, but it's just that the way my brain works, I love to learn these things and learn new softwares, but I know most people don't, and they don't like to spend their time doing that. So like for me, it was therapeutic to work on something for long hours last night, but like to come to that real, no, I don't think you're an idiot at all, because most people,
it's okay if you do.
Most people can't, like, they can't code the PHP and the feeds and the XMLs, and like I'm speaking a foreign language to most of you guys right now, but yeah, just realizing when it's just like, this isn't working. We need another plan that's going to work fast, and whether that means spending some money or, you know, like just going a different route that maybe like your arch nemesis at work suggested, like if it works out for the plan, you need to go forward towards whatever goal it is, and this might work out better for us. So stay tuned.
Well, and I don't remember, there's a ton of people that have quotes about this, but the basic gist is you set a goal, but then you have to be flexible in your tactics to get there. You know, if if you just have it set in your mind that this is going to be the way it's working, and you're doing it at the airport and you're strung out, then it's not working. And so you have to adapt and change, otherwise it never works. And I think that's a great lesson in business. Set your goal, but then willing to change which road you go down to hit that goal.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for a lot of us too, because we got to where we are because we're stubborn as heck, right? Like that's just like, and that's part of our success. I wouldn't trade it. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know I'm talking for you too, girl. But like that's part of the good side, but like it's like know when to say when though. Like you do have you have to adapt and adjust, and that's not quitting and it's not giving up. It's doing the better thing for everybody.
Agreed. The quote everyone knows, I was just going to say to sum a little bit of what you set up, was life happens when you're busy making plans. Just does. But your resilience shines through when you're able to adapt and, put the next plan up on the board.
Yeah, agreed. Very much agreed. All right, so I'll make mine short because I know we're running low on time. But I had a great eye-opening experience this week when one question I always ask when you opt into my email list is, how can I help you? Like, what's one thing I can help you with, or what's one thing in your business I can help you with? One of the more popular answers is, how do I find customers? And I've been thinking about this for a long time, because you could do a Google AdWords course, you could do a Facebook ads course, and it means so many things to different people, and it's just on a level of your budget versus your hours available. Like, there's so many different ways you could quote unquote find customers. There's a strategy behind it. And I kept thinking, like, I want to put together this course that helps people do that, but I couldn't figure out the how to put it all together. And it's just one of those lessons learned of ask. And so this week on my newsletter, I said, hey, here's the deal. You all asked this. I'm listening. I want to put this together, but I need your help. I'm not quite sure how to structure this, because I really need to understand where you are right now, what you're doing. And so I said, for the first 10 people who respond back to me, answer these questions. You need to be available on one of these 2 dates where we can do a roundtable and really talk about these things more in depth. And you need to promise you're going to go through what I put together and give me feedback. And it was so eye-opening, because as we grow in our business, we forget where we began. And everything's so obvious to us. Like, we're like, oh, that's easy. Why would you ask that? But yet for that first person, it's really paralyzing to them. They don't get it. They don't understand it. And then we're so busy, and I hate to use levels like I'm above people, and that's not what I mean at all, but as you grow and you understand these things, it becomes second nature to you. You don't get that people actually struggle with that. And then as you're following the people and listening to the people, so you really think, well, this is the easy stuff. Everybody knows this. And just the responses I got, I haven't had a chance to go through everybody's, but the questions, I'm like, wow. Like, people, it's just so amazing how much we can truly help people, because we get so caught up in everybody teaches that, everybody knows that, but yet there's so many people struggling with the basic things. So there's just a couple lessons learned, like, never assume that everybody knows it, because they don't. There's always someone, and this is what I teach people, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, you may only be a 3, and you're looking at the 9s and 10s going, I don't know anything. Oops, sorry, I just hit my microphone. But you've got the people at the 1s and the 2s who are really intimidated by the 10s, and they're going to appreciate a 3 teaching them stuff. Or just ask your customers what they need. Ask them, and then create stuff to help them. And so I'm super excited about this. I'm putting everything together. I've got my list of people now, and so I'm going to start week 1 and do some roundtables with them, but I'm just so much more excited about this than trying to pull something out of the sky for a program. So just ask and don't assume, I think, were my 2 biggest lessons.
I know time is quick, but I would say that a 3 is a better teacher to a 1 and a 2 than a 10 is, right? And I think a lot of times when we're looking to learn something, people want to learn from this person, like Seth Godin or whoever, and I'm like, No, you want to learn from this person who just went through this, who still has it fresh in their mind, who is still living it and has fire for helping you out because they just didn't have anybody help them up, right? And so like, so I would just say that, yes, always ask, and then and know that, like, when you're looking to learn from somebody, don't, it's not like lowering the bar. It's like that person is a better teacher for you than someone at a higher level who is working with just corporate and has nothing to do with a lifestyle business or anything like that. So it's just important to note.
I would agree. Anyone else have anything, parting thoughts as we close out tonight's episode?
I was just going to comment on the 2s and 3s and the 9s and the 10s. When I'm training brand new yoga teachers, I tell them, teach beginners, teach people who've never had yoga before. One, you'll be less intimidated because they know even less than you do, and people will actually come and try. Oh, you're a new teacher. They know you're going to make mistakes, and they're not thinking of the teachers that they see that can do all kinds of crazy things or have been teaching for 10 plus years. So totally get that. You always learn the best from a person who's one step above on the ladder, the rung on the ladder.
No, I love that perspective too, because I think it's just, and this is where you teach people to start businesses or to get involved in yoga training or whatever. It's like you don't have to be perfect. Like you don't have to be Seth Godin. Seth Godin. Like he's been around for like what, 20 years teaching marketing. Like you could start right now and you're never gonna be Seth Godin. Like you have to let him die for a couple of years and then you make it. I mean, it's like don't even worry about it. So I agree. Not that I love you, Seth Godin. I do not wish anything bad upon you. All right, so visit us. Don't like we said, we're changing some feeds. So if you have subscribed to us on iTunes, Stitcher too, make sure to watch for some stuff. Some things might be changing. So just a heads up, and FYI, we may be begging you for another review. But you can always join us over at our Facebook group over at bit.ly/KNOW business. So come over there. We always keep the conversation going. If anything, you want Andrea's Google AdWords class, that'll be up on there. And we will see you all next week. Thank you guys so much. Shannon, thank you so much for joining this week. All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.